Hi students, this presentation is on factors affecting BMR. So in the last class or in the last presentation, that is PPT number 2, we had discussed about the definition of BMR, the definition of basal metabolism, what do you mean by basal state, and we had also discussed the determination of BMR, and we had gone through the experiment using Benedict Roth apparatus. We had also gave an example for the calculation of BMR. So today let us focus on the factors affecting BMR. There are many factors which affect BMR. First and the foremost is the body composition. So body composition is nothing but it talks about how different organs or tissues are related to BMR. So, certain tissues in the body, like the muscle, brain, various glands, which release hormones or enzymes, and the organs such as liver, are always metabolically active compared to tissues like bone and adipocytes. So, these active tissues, when I say active, they will be functioning, and for the cells to function, they need energy, which also needs oxygen, because they burn the nutrients with the help of oxygen, and that's how these cells consume more oxygen to burn the nutrients, and thus energy is released in these tissues, and that's how they derive more energy to perform their activities. So it is found that total basal energy requirement is always higher when muscle tissues are higher in proportion. So, what does it mean? A person with more muscles will have a higher BMR. This is the correlation, because muscles, it could be even the heart muscles or the cardiac muscles, the skeletal muscles, which help in the functioning, which help in any physical activities, and even liver. Liver, we know that it's a major organ wherein all the metabolic pathways happen in the body. So these tissues, and especially the muscle tissue, so higher the composition of muscle in the body, higher is the BMR of that person. I hope you got an idea about what it means as body composition. Fine. Body composition is nothing but the makeup of the body with respect to the tissues and BMR. Now coming to the second point, body size and surface area. Again, BMR is directly proportional to the body surface area and less related, or it is not directly proportional to either the height or weight of an individual. Now what does this mean? It means that BMR is always proportional to the body surface area. Now we had already discussed the word body surface area in the previous presentation. Body surface area includes both the height and weight of the person. So BMR is never related only to the height or only to the weight. That means you cannot just neglect one entity and just consider the weight, or you cannot neglect weight and just consider the height of the person to determine the BMR. So BMR is directly proportional to the body surface area or the body size. And it says that a tall thin person generally has a greater body surface area than the individual with the same weight but who is short and fat. So what does it mean? So there is a large or a major portion, the body composition would include more of muscles in a person who is tall compared to the person who is short. And when I say thin and fat here, so it very clearly indicates that fat or the obese person would have more composition of the adipocytes or the adipose tissue when compared to the thin person. Therefore, a tall thin person would have a larger body surface area and hence would have a higher BMR. So it is directly related to the muscle composition again, which is spoken of in the first point. Now the third one is gender. The BMR of an adult man is about 1 megajoule per day, which is higher than a woman of the same age and weight. So what does it say? BMR also goes with the gender or the sex of the person. So if it BMR is generally more in men when compared to women of the same age and weight. Now this is again correlated with the first point or the second point also, which talks about the muscle muscle tissue or the adipocytes. So we all know that women have more adipose tissue and less muscle tissue compared to men. Therefore, a young adult male can have only 14% of the fat compared to a female who can have 23 to 32% of fat deposition in the body. So the BMR of the women will be 10 to 12% lower compared to those compared to the men of the same age, height or body surface area. So this is with respect to the gender. So generally an adult man can have a BMR value of 35 to 38 kilocals per hour per square meter compared to women who can have 32 to 35 kilocals per hour per square meter. Coming to the age. Now BMR is again inversely proportional to the age. Now here we are not talking with respect to man or a woman, but it is with respect to age in general. So children have higher BMR than adults, and BMR is highest during the first 2 years of life. That is when the when an individual is in the infant stage, or when he is in the the 1 or 2 years of age, a very small kid of 1 or 2 years. So it declines gradually throughout the childhood, and again it accelerates slightly in the adolescence. Now what does it mean? So throughout, of course, there will be a requirement for growth in the individuals until they reach the adolescence or the puberty. But BMR would constantly be increasing with the age. But it becomes highest. Where is it highest? It is highest in the infancy, as well in the early infancy, and gradually it declines. It comes down to a lower value than found in the infancy, but it becomes constant until the individual reaches adolescence or puberty. Now why is it again? Because puberty is the age wherein the person develops secondary growth. So there will be a lot of metabolic activities going on in the cells of the individual which need more energy, and therefore more heat is required to maintain the basal state of the person during puberty. Thereafter, there is a decline throughout the life. And how much is the decline? There would be a decline of about 2% per decade after the age of 21 years. So after 21 years of age, that is when the person becomes 22, 23, so on, every decade there is a decrease in the BMR value by 2%. Say it was around 35 or 37. So from 22 it may become 2% lesser than that. So it can be from 37 it can come down to 35. So next again at the age of 45 years, at every decade there is a decrease by 2% of BMR. Now coming to the climatic condition. BMR is generally found to decrease in summer and it increases in winter. Now why does it have to increase in winter? So see here, when the temperature is metabolic rate is observed at an environment of 26 degree and higher rates anywhere above or below 26 degree can change the BMR values. Now why is it? Say for example there is a sudden decrease. So in winter season what happens? We tend to feel cold. You would have observed that before feeling cold, suddenly you may feel the chill and you may shiver. So this shivering is the transient period wherein the body adjusts to cope up with the change in the temperature surrounding him. So till then he'll be feeling normal, but suddenly when the temperature drops down, he shivers. So this shivering happens when the temperature drops down, and this is because of a transient process that happens. So what is the transient process? Here you can see a temporary process of heat production would result when there is a decrease in the surrounding temperature, and this adaptive response of the body to lower temperature is what is called as cold induced thermogenesis. So what I mean to say is, when the temperature of the surrounding goes down, that is which generally happens in winter or cold seasons, then we tend to shiver initially. This shivering is mainly because the body has to cope up. There will be again burning of the nutrients to release more energy or heat, which is required to maintain the basal condition of the basal state of the person, that is to maintain the involuntary activities of the person. So that is how BMR increases during the cold temperature. So keeping the body warm, I had discussed this point. Maintenance of body temperature is also an involuntary activity, and you do require energy for maintaining the body temperature. Therefore, the nutrients are more oxidized and more energy is released. So, more heat is generated. So, more the heat generation, more is the BMR. So, BMR is what? It is the minimum amount of energy required to maintain certain involuntary functions. So, maintaining body temperature is also an involuntary aspect, and you need energy you require that extra heat energy to maintain the body temperature. So this heat production is what is called as BMR. And you can also observe that when the temperature increases above 30 degree, that time also BMR is required, because there will be processes happening in the body which would try to get rid of the excess of heat that is being trapped by the water within the body, and that excess heat has to go out as sweat, or what do you call this process is called as perspiration. So during the process of perspiration, some amount of energy is also required to carry out this involuntary function of perspiration. Therefore, when temperatures go below 26 degree and when temperatures go above 30 degrees Celsius, BMR values increase. But generally, BMR is found to decrease in summer, because the body does not require more amount of heat to maintain the body temperature. Fine. Now coming to the state of nutrition, BMR is found to increase by 5 to 10% when there is overfeeding. Now what happens here? This is because the person takes more calories than needed, and the body tries to adapt by using more energy, thereby giving out, the person would the involuntary activities are actually fueled with more energy or more BMR. So here, when the person consumes more food than required, the body adapts by burning more calories in order to maintain the basal condition or the involuntary functions. So that one more thing here is, the body does this, it consumes more nutrients than required, or it oxidizes more nutrients than required to maintain the involuntary activities, for one more reason, that it avoids the fat deposition. On the other hand, prolonged undernutrition or semi-starvation or starvation decreases BMR by 20 to 30% below the normal value, which indicates the body's effort to conserve energy. So here what happens, the body tries to conserve whatever energy is available in the diet. Because of prolonged starvation or undernutrition, when the person is taking less food, the same amount of food is not used, the whole of the nutrients are not oxidized only to maintain the involuntary functions, but the energy is trapped in the form of it could be trapped in the form of chemical energy, or in the form of fat within the adipocytes, how much ever required. So though here would be a question that, okay, during starvation, how can we expect a person to be fat? I'm not telling that the person would tend to become fat, but only thing is, here whatever amount of diet is taken by the person, More of it is not used into maintaining the involuntary activities, but some amount of it is actually, the body makes effort to conserve energy also. It could be in the form of chemical energy stored in the ATP molecules, or it could be storing, converting some amount of carbohydrates or lipids into triacyl glycerols and stored in the adipocytes. Now coming on to the diet, BMR of vegetarian is found to be 11% lower than those of vegetarians. This is again related to another concept called SDA of food, which we'll be discussing in the next presentation. So, diet also influences BMR. Coming to sleep, during sleeping hours, basal metabolism is about 10% lower than the waking state, and this BMR during sleep also, depends on the motion that we do during the sleeping process. So we keep on turning from this side to that side, or we keep changing our position while in sleep. Without our knowledge, we keep changing our position. So BMR also, is affected during the motion that we come across in sleep. And here you would have observed that when you take rest and wake up, you don't feel much of the heartbeat. Means the heart would be beating. It doesn't mean that it doesn't beat. It would be slightly lower compared to the heartbeat or the pulse rate when you are awake. Now that is what it says, that basal metabolism, you don't need more energy to maintain the involuntary functions while at sleep. So the BMR reduces to about 10% the normal value. Coming on to physiological condition, like for example pregnancy. So BMR increases by 5% during the first and second trimesters, and during the last trimester increases by 12%, because various organs and tissues will be developing within the fetus. And the reasons here again are, there will be a high rate of metabolism with respect to the fetus, placenta, and increased maternal activity of the maternal tissue, the increase in the weight of the mother, which again increases the body surface area, and we have already discussed BMR is directly related to the body surface area as well. The next point is fever. So an elevation in the body temperature above normal, that is 37 degree, during infection causes obviously fever. And here we come across that there is an increase of BMR by 13%. Now why is this increase? It is mainly because of immune response. So there will be a number of chemical reactions happening in the immune cells. The immune cells now become active, and whichever tissue becomes active, it tries to burn more energy, because it needs energy to function, to be active. So during infection, the immune cells have to produce lot of chemicals which react with the pathogens or with the antigens, and that's how during fever there is an increase in the BMR by about 13%. Coming on to hormones. Hormones like thyroxine. So what is this thyroxine? It is secreted by the thyroid gland, and we know that thyroid gland is very important to control the metabolism of the entire body. So deviation in the normal BMR by more than 20%, if the BMR of a person deviates from the normal value by more than 20%, it indicates that there is some problem in the functioning of the thyroid gland. In case of hypothyroidism, when thyroxine secretion is low, BMR decreases up to 30%, while because people have low energy needs, and in case of hyperthyroidism, BMR increases by 50 to 70%, because this, the metabolic rate increases, and obviously when the rate increases, more and more of heat is produced for the BMR, to maintain the BMR. The growth hormones also stimulate or also affects BMR. So growth hormones would stimulate new tissue formation in infants, children and teenagers, and that's how growth hormones can also influence BMR. Coming to anterior pituitary gland. So this is a gland which is concerned with many hormones. Example like the steroid hormones, So prior to menstrual period, metabolic activity increases and thus BMR increases due to the more activity of the pituitary gland. Epinephrine. So epinephrine is a hormone which we have come across. It is also called as the fear, fright and the flight hormone. So this hormone is released when you are in fear, or when you are stressed, or when you are emotionally low, when you are feeling low, or even it could be anxiety. So BMR increases with respect to epinephrine. Now coming on to medication or the drugs. For example, adrenaline. We all know that adrenaline it is nothing but again the epinephrine only. It is also, adrenaline is another name for epinephrine. It's a life-saving drug and it increases BMR. An injection of 1 mg of adrenaline can increase BMR by 20% above the normal value, and the BMR would be kept that high for a few hours. Now why is it required? Adrenaline, why did I say it is a life-saving drug? So when a person is, when the heartbeat is coming very low, then in order to get back the person's heartbeat, the adrenaline is injected directly onto the chest of the person so that it accelerates the heartbeat. So that's how BMR increases. And drugs like nicotine, caffeine and even alcohol increases BMR. Coming on to physical activity, it is a direct correlation with BMR. We all know that the type of physical activity greatly influences BMR. If you are doing a sedentary work, that is a very mild work, then you don't need more energy to maintain the involuntary functions as well as to supply energy for the physical activity. Therefore, BMR would be less. But when you do lot of heavy activity, then obviously BMR would be more. For example, there is a significant increase in the BMR value after a physical exercise. So after you do a physical exercise and then do a BMR test, then definitely the value of BMR would be higher than the normal value. Now before I conclude, there are two things here. There is another word called REE, that means resting energy expenditure, and it can also be referred as RMR, resting metabolic rate. So this is nothing but similar to BMR, but it differs in two things. Here the person need not be in the basal state. Now in case of BMR, the person has to be in the basal state. That is, he should be in the post-absorptive state, he should be having normal body temperature, and he should be physically and mentally at rest. But he need not be, he should be awake when doing BMR. But here the person need not be in the basal state. That is, he need not be in the post-absorptive state, or he need not be, he need not be always awake. Whereas in BMR, he should be awake, and he need not, the person need not have a normal body temperature. So what does it mean? When I say no need to have a normal body temperature, generally the word RMR and or the REE refers to the test which is done for patients who are hospitalized. So this is the nothing but a continuous BMR test that is done at regular intervals of time throughout the day. So the test is done throughout the day at regular interval of time and is generally done for patients in the hospital to monitor their BMR on a regular basis. So that's why I said here the patient need not be awake all the time. He can be sleeping, but when a person is normal, having a normal body temperature, he should be awake when the test is going on. Fine. These are some of the points that cover on the factors affecting BMR. In the next presentation, we will be talking about SDA, that is the specific dynamic action of foods, and there we would also discuss about thermogenesis. Thank you.